By the way, I'm going to put you through a fucking table. Have a nice day.
Whoa!
Yo, what is up, guys? How is everyone doing today? I hope a lot of you guys are staying safe. Give me a minute, guys. Good morning, guys. I hope everyone is staying safe. This morning, I know a lot of you guys are I know a lot of you guys are watching right now BS. Not total BS, but the BS show. Yeah. And right now I'm doing is basically yeah. Hope everybody is staying safe. By the way, what's up? Good morning, OJ. OJ.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, he got here this morning. But he can't hear you because I have headphones. So he can't hear what you're saying.
You got your headphones. Congratulations.
No, these are the ones. These are the spares. Yeah, these were the ones that I let him use. But hey, dude, Ray bit the hand that fed him last night.
What'd he do?
He went against Uncle Rico.
He did?
Yeah.
What happened?
Basically, he also he people are saying that he made Ari cry.
Oh, did she say that or just people saying that?
Bob and them were talking about it today.
I see.
Bob also, you know,
I'm gonna put Bob on screen so people will maybe see Bob and think he's on here. Hold on.
yeah. I got to see OJ when he was shirtless last night.
Yes.
You were shirtless last night.
I am
Do
shirtless
you
now, Jake.
Do you go outside with no shirt on?
Yes. In the summertime, yes, Jake. All right. So now
With a
people,
thong?
if they see the video and they see Bob Levy, maybe they'll come into the stream. A little false advertising.
Bob right now is watching Richard Simmons hula hooping. Is watching him hula hooping.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're having a good morning, huh?
Yep, he's asleep. But I want to talk about, like, is Patrick Melton doing a 24-hour stream today?
I think that's the rumor.
Patrick Melton's not going to make 24 hours. I know what he's going to do. He's going to do like a couple hours and then call it 24.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, there's Spaghetti Tooth John. Or Spaghetti.
Hey, link is in the the StreamYard link. I actually made a link, the Twitch link, and the StreamYard link in the same post.
You know the weirdest thing happened to me, Jake? I went to sleep.
You saw your shadow? You saw your shadow?
I saw my shadow, and my shadow must have stolen my lighter because my lighter disappeared. I looked everywhere. Doesn't make sense. I think somebody stole
Did your
my
cat
lighter.
eat it?
Maybe my dog did.
You might want to take it to the vet.
I accidentally did kick the door into my dog today, though. I felt bad.
I know, only if it's okay. Come on in. You don't, dude. You're not. You don't do, dude. It's you. You always make the shows better than it was.
Oops.
That was
I just love knickers.
Bob. By the way, it was a 77-minute conversation. It was a 77-minute conversation. It wasn't 90 minutes. By the way, you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Jake. Hello,
Bob was saying
De La.
it.
Sorry, Jake, because I don't have a lighter. I had to light my cigarette off of the stove. And then
Did you
rolled-
burn the filter?
well, no, then I rolled a joint. So I had to spark up the joint with the cigarette. And now that I got the joint going, I got to finish my cigarette so then I could smoke my joint. It's all fucked up. But that's why I didn't answer you. I was toking up the doob.
No, you can remember I'm a guy, but they call you dude. I know you're a guy. Hey, De La. No one can.
Maybe you should change your name to De La Pole. Instead of De La Soul, you could be Pole, like you have a cock. Chris Mack, hello. Welcome.
I was on the phone during BS this AM while you were on, but it was good to see you on there.
You were on BS this morning?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations. Awesome.
Yeah, and then I pissed them off wearing my sports head shirt.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
You were trolling them a little bit.
No, I had it on.
Oh, okay. So you didn't put it? Did you know you were going on and then you put the shirt on, or did you just happen to have it on?
No, I had it on.
Oh, okay. That's still funny.
Hey, I'm gonna tell Bob that I'm live.
I'm Silver King. We tied it.
Hello, loading. Welcome to Jake's stream. Let me see here. Okay.
Yeah, guys, if anyone wants to tip the stream. We haven't had any tips in a couple days.
Yeah, they're gonna slow down a little bit. You know, people hooked you up pretty big for your birthday, so but it will pick back up. Good morning, KB.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right, go ahead. Me and El Horrible do that a lot too. So,
by the way,
if anybody was wondering, we were both trying to pull up KB's chat at like 4 or 5 times.
By the way, Uncle was on BS this morning. But
really?
Can I also tell you something? By the way, does BS have the debut of actually Ruger B? By the way, we had the K's dog. Ruger
KB's
B.
dog? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ruger
I thought
B.
you were talking about a rapper. Is maybe she named her dog after a rapper?
My dog. Yeah.
Yo,
Is there anybody in the back? I'm a loser.
I'm Silver King. We tied it.
Return. No, he's named after a gun. Ruger B. Here's the thing.
Lil Ruger.
Ruger is a gun. Yeah, OJ, Ruger is a gun.
I know Ruger is a gun, but I didn't know a Ruger B was a gun. Never heard of that one.
No, Ruger B. Ruger is the name of the dog. I just put B in it because it's K's.
Oh, and that's what made it sound like a rapper's name.
I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole.
I wonder if we could get away with playing that song.
No.
I'm gonna see.
No.
I'm not playing anything yet, Jake. I'm looking to see if it has copyright on it.
What?
The "I'm an Asshole" song by Dennis Leary.
No, we can't. No music.
You would like this song
If you
too.
do, I'm muting the mic. I'm muting your mic if you do it. I'm not dealing with this right now.
I'm not, Jake. I'm not playing anything. Do you see anything in the StreamYard? I was just looking. I said I was looking. Relax. I'll send it to you off stream so you can check it out. I think
I'm just like.
I think you'll like it.
It's not gonna flop.
Ruger. Yo, this Ruger B. I'm in the house with Jake Husden. You know what I'm saying? Making cupcake. Ruger B in the house.
What's up, a mean cup of Joe? What's up, a mean cup of Joe? How you doing?
Cardiff made a good point. American Cupcake does look a little like the picture. And I'm not saying the obese picture. I'm saying the face of the guy that Chad Zumach thought was Cardiff. He does look a little.
Oh, by the way, did you see that Bob Levy? We're over here now. Did you see that Bob Levy called Dave Dappler? Call him by his real name.
Wait, say that again. I apologize.
He called the bird. He called Dave Fuller. He called him by his real pronunciation.
Oh, did he?
Chris, I'm sending you a link on your Facebook, Tidwell.
Chris Tidwell, yeah.
Snapper to a Slim Jim.
I got a question for Chris if he does join us. There was some controversy involving his show a few weeks back.
Uh-oh. Oh, by the way, I went in on by the way, in one of the videos. You know, the last stream that me and Joey C ever did got a copyright claim. So what I had to go do is I had to go mute it. I had to go in and mute the stream.
I just love knickers.
Bob.
Oh, Bob. So we have someone backstage, Jake.
Oh, Spaghetti.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How are you? Wait, can y'all hear me? Wait, I don't know if this is plugged in.
Good morning, Corndiff. Good morning, Corndiff. Chris says give him 5 minutes or so.
Okay, I don't think this is working. I'm just gonna unplug this. See if it works. How's that? Is that better? Can y'all hear me?
Hey, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I just love knickers.
No? Am I gone?
Oh,
yes, we can hear you.
Damn it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna... Good morning, Jake. Good morning, OJ. How's it going?
Good morning. It's going great.
Good. Yeah, it's going well over here too. Just getting ready to watch the 24 hours stream today of Milton Meltdown. Be fun. And then I was listening to Jake. I did see that on the BS show where Bob called Dave by his real name. And it was weird.
Yeah.
He stopped himself too. He was like,
I
He
just
goes,
love knickers.
yeah, it was
Bob!
funny to see.
Yeah, Bob, that was inappropriate. No, that's weird. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think I ever. You call him
Yeah.
Delafiore?
He said Dave Delafour. Delafour, yes.
Oh,
And then he stopped, like everybody stopped and looked at him, and he goes, "Wait a minute, did I just say it right?" And then he went back and said the Bob way. So yeah, Daffler, yeah,
Dave Daffler.
Dave Daffler. So,
By
so
the
yeah,
way, Bob a
yes.
link. I did send Bob a link.
Oh, you did? Hey, and I did look up the
Yeah.
songs last night, Jake. The songs that you were
I'm
singing.
Sofa King. We tied it.
Yeah, sorry, Bob just pops in.
It's okay, Bob. Yeah, Bob's just doing his thing, huh?
You listen to some tapes?
Oh, we were singing country songs last night. I joined a stream and we were trying to think of some country songs that we could sing together. Yeah, or somewhat sing together.
Hey, Mr.
But,
Blue Sky.
yeah, Mr. Blue Sky, yay!
I didn't bite my arm yesterday. I didn't bite my arm yesterday.
Oh, good. Are you having issues biting your arm?
I'm
I
right
just
now.
love knickers.
I'm trying to not be stressed out. I'm not.
Hey,
And
did
I
you ever
know
get
I'm
your?
going live. I haven't
Go
got my
ahead.
headphones yet. These are the old headphones.
Okay. Did
Oh,
you ever get? Did you ever get your sheets on your bed?
I got them on, but they were long.
They were what?
Too long.
Oh, too long. It's okay. You can shove them. I mean, if they're too long, you can just tuck them underneath the end
You
of
want
the
to see
bed.
something good?
Okay,
I
yeah,
just
sure.
love knickers.
Oh, cool. I like that. Now, is that your new headset or no?
This is the old one. These are the old ones. This is the one that
That's the
Balls
old one?
Deep gave me.
Oh, that was nice. I like those. Those look very fancy. Do they work really well?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes but I'm wishing to get my other headset this week.
Are you getting a new headset? Is it going to be the same type or is it going to be a little different?
By the
I'm
way,
Sofa King. We
Stormy was
tied it.
supposed
Hang on, I moved my computer to a new place. It looks really dark in here. I feel it'll be okay. I'm trying to lamp up. I can't really see. Oh, that's good enough. I have my own.
Bob is a little bit inappropriate. Bob is being inappropriate right now. By the way, by the way, this morning I found out who Stephanie Miller is.
Who is?
I watched an episode of her show, Stephanie Miller Show. If you know who Stephanie Miller is one of John's former Stud Joe's. Sorry.
I'm Sofa King. We tied it.
Yeah, Stuttering John's former employer. Stuttering John was a producer for her for a very short period of time.
Oh, hey, KV. I love KV. She's so sweet.
All right.
Awesome.
I think if one more outburst out of Bob, and I think I'm going to have to get rid of Bob.
Okay. So who is this? You said it's Stephanie Miller?
Stephanie Miller. Stephanie Miller. She's a political channel.
Now, is that the one where he came in and tried to produce it for a while, and then she fired him for being drunk on the job?
I love knickers.
All right, Bob.
Okay.
Bob. Sorry.
Bye, Bob. Bob's got to go. There's
the truth.
So OJ, is that the person that he used to work for? Didn't he work for somebody for a while and then got fired for being drunk on the job, or allegedly?
Yeah, he produced. I don't know the time frame.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really pay much attention to that era of John, but yeah, he worked for that show for a small, not very long. I think they thought he was. Whoa, what is all that noise?
No, that wasn't me.
I don't.
Oh, that's definitely coming from Sketty because I just muted her.
Is it? Oh. Okay.
That's gone now.
Okay. Sorry, I must have touched something.
That's okay.
SJ's
No, it sounded like
former
a truck
employer,
was driving
11
by or something.
interest.
Was it sound like OJ? I'm sorry.
Like a truck was driving by or something.
Oh,
like
you
that.
know what? It could have been my phone. I could have probably hit it against the computer. But yeah, I remember something about that where he was fired, and then she said she fired him because he was.
Yeah, they had him
drunk
on
and-
air like once or twice, and he sucked. And then they just had him in
Yeah.
the back, and then they didn't really, he didn't really bring anything to the show. So I think they just let him go.
Yeah. And then I caught the. I didn't watch it live, but I saw the Tukey soup. Y'all had that last night. That was fun. It was a good show.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a lot of fun. Y'all were funny.
I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that Ralph character, but
I know. I saw that. Did you? Was that? I guess you can't. I don't know if you want to say. Was that planned or just improvised?
no, yeah. I mean, parts of the show is we do a rehearsal before we start, and then, but yeah, no, that all the interactions was all just improvised.
Y'all are amazing. Y'all are really good. I mean, y'all kind of feed off of each other. It's a really good group. It's fun to watch. Did you get to see it, Jay? Oh, I'm sorry, OJ. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's fun to be a part of it and to be able to contribute with ideas, and we all have the same kind of goofy sense of humor.
Yeah.
We're all creative in our own ways, so it's just a good blend. We all work good together.
Yeah, dude. Did you get to see it, Jake, or you probably were busy last night? I think you were streaming last night.
Yeah, I don't try to watch those shows.
Okay. Hey, did the kids go back to school? Do you have the place to yourself?
No, he didn't. He's the only one here, and he's asleep.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, but and luckily he's not playing music. He's watching like police videos.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't have the drop ready. Jake.
By the way,
Jake does like those shows, but I don't think he's a big fan of Tukey, like, because we had a segment of Jake fighting with Joey C the first show, and then the last show.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last show we had a clip of that what the hell's his name? God, the walrus guy.
Corey Adams?
Corey Adams.
Corey Adams?
There's no
Corey
S.
Adams.
For some reason there's no
Yeah,
S. It's just Adam. But
Adam, right. I said the same thing too.
But yeah, and he did something that wasn't very nice, talking shit about Jake basically. But we have a guest. We're gonna just bring him right in. Welcome, Chris Tidwell.
Hey, hi Chris.
Wait, by the way, we gotta give him from the Godfathers, a podcast every Thursday on the Shilly Network. It is the great Chris Tidwell.
Wow, I appreciate the kindness, but those words don't go together. Great and Chris Tidwell do not go together. So.
Yeah.
How you doing? How you doing, Jake?
Also, you also have Tid Talk in the fake, not fake, dang it, the cave,
Fake Off Show.
yeah,
The Fake Off Show, the Marijuana Show, the Tid Talk stuff that I'm doing on my YouTube, the Godfathers of Podcasting. Wow.
yeah. Are you gonna talk? Hey, quick question: are you gonna talk about the Duggars on your show?
I mean, we have in the past, and we probably will again. Yeah.
I have not seen the Shiny Happy People documentary. I haven't seen that yet.
No, you should give it a shot. There's a lot of episodes on there. It's not just the Duggars one, but that obviously got their most coverage, I think. But there's a lot of them on there that are really, really good documentaries. If you're into documentaries, of course.
Yeah, and also, and Chris Tidwell is a wrestler from Canada, has run a wrestling school.
That is correct. Crossbody Studios in Cambridge, Ontario.
He was also trained by the Hart Brothers.
Out at Hart Brothers School, trained by Johnny Canine and Waldo Von Erich. Yeah.
So, real quick, Sketty, you have a lot of feedback coming in. I just muted your mic because it's just so bad. Here, you know.
So sorry. Let me then. I'll come out and come back in. How's it sound?
You may need to turn on your mic just a touch too. It's a little loud.
Are you sure it's not me?
And there's echo coming in, so yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, I moved my computer into a new room. It's like a media room that's really closed up and it's dark. So I'm trying to figure out like lighting and stuff. So, do you want me just to exit out and see if I can come back in with my headphones?
Sure, that would be great.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, thank you. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
No problem. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. I also want to ask about. Did you see the tweet that that Kylie Ray is pregnant?
Congratulations to her. She's a lovely human being and deserves all the happiness.
Yeah,
in the world.
you know, she was part of it. You know, she was part of the first All In.
Mhm.
She was part of a little bit of AEW at the beginning of AEW.
Mhm.
And you know, she wasn't happy in AEW. She wasn't.
No.
You know,
Well,
they were promised a lot of stuff that they didn't get.
you got to go where you're happy, Jake. There's no doubt about that. Especially in the wrestling business, man, because it is so you're dealing with locker rooms full of self-centered contractors that are trying to do what's best for themselves for the most part.
Yeah.
Not what's best for the company or what's best for the business, what's best for themselves. So egos get involved a lot inside of that locker room. A lot of backstabbing, a lot of bullshit, and it's even worse. It's even worse for the women than it is for the men. You know what I mean? Because the women's divisions are such a finite division. There's not nearly as many of them. You know what I mean? So you'd think that they'd stand together a little bit more, but no. There's just as much.
Yeah.
And you get women that just decide to be catty about it, and that happens a lot too.
And also one of the reasons why a lot of people, you know, a lot of times they got two belts now in AEW. They got the women's belt, and they also now have the women's world, and they also have the not TNT, the TBS championship.
Right.
And I don't know why they're keeping the TNT championship if they're not part of TNT. I know they're on TNT. Rampage is on TNT now.
Correct. Yeah, listen, I mean, it can't be. I find a lot of times with the wrestling belts is it can get convoluted. You know what I mean? It can get lost in the mix. You forget like what belt is this and what belt is up, and they constantly change the belts themselves, so you don't get anybody who can get behind those belts. You know what I mean? So hopefully they get it figured out. You got to remember, AEW is still, I mean, in comparison to things, they are still a very young company. They're still trying to find their way, still trying to find their footing, so to speak, right?
You know, and I love having you on the show, Ted, because you know a lot about wrestling. And when we have people on the show that don't know, that's something that I used to talk about. And, you know, I lost my focus.
Right.
When I joined, you know, when I'm like, you know, last year I lost my focus because I was getting tired of talking about VKM and all that bull crap. And all this stuff. And by the way, he had a search warrant because of his lawsuit. By the way,
yes, I wish pro wrestling would actually come back. I mean, what other form of entertainment has more fans that are former fans that won't watch this shit anymore, like myself, that would come back and watch it if they went back to just the psychology of pro wrestling and not this flip-flop kick around, jump around.
It'll never happen. You know why? You want to know why? The real reason?
So depressing.
Because you're old. You're old, just like the rest of us, and that era of wrestling is gone. They don't sell wrestling on TV to try to sell you the wrestling. They don't try to sell you the show. They don't try to sell you the pay-per-view. They don't try to sell you anything. Everything now is geared towards selling merchandise. And the merchandise used to just be T-shirts, maybe a commemorative belt, but now it's toys. It's all about selling toys, and it's always been to sell to a younger market. So the wrestling itself has to change. And when that happens, we get older, the wrestling changes, and we're still in love with what it was that we fell in love with wrestling. But it's gone. It's long gone. It's the same kind of, it's the same thing in this weird world, this weird corner of the internet that we all live in. We all sit there and go, I'm not watching that fucking show because so-and-so is going to be on there anymore. But guess what? Everybody still kind of sneaks around once in a while and checks it out to realize why they hate it and then go away.
But also what goes around comes around again, and what's old becomes new again. So I'd like to think, maybe in my lifetime, they'll go back. I think I didn't watch, I know that's SummerSlam, I think just happened, and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But I know that, for being pro wrestling and sports entertainment, he always made it seem, especially since he was in UFC, more like a UFC kind of feel to it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that it's still a possibility. I mean, we've gone on for like 20 years of this sports entertainment shit, and I guess it does sell merch and all that. Sorry, Jake. Can I finish my thought? Go ahead, Jake.
I heard Brock actually gave the sign off on Cody, and they ended the storyline at SummerSlam.
Cool.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, listen, both of those guys deserve to do fantastic things. They're both very talented. There is not a smarter guy. As much as people bag on Brock Lesnar, you know what I mean, for just kind of like they assume he's just a meathead who fought in the UFC, got his ass kicked in a couple of fights in the UFC, and came back. Everybody kind of shits on Brock, but I'm telling you, in the world of professional wrestling, there are very, very few guys at the top of that ladder that are just as smart or smarter than Brock Lesnar.
And he was mentored by fucking Paul Heyman. You can't have anybody better than that.
No.
By the way, what's up, Redbeard? Good morning. By the way, Redbeard, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Redbeard.
Redbeard is a good friend of the show, and he's actually right now. He right now is looking for a kidney.
Chris, I gotta say, I'm envious that you got to become a wrestler and live that life, no matter how horrible or great it was. I always thought that I was supposed to be in that universe, and just it never happened. I was just a giant mark for a lot of my life.
Well, you know what? The business itself needs people like that too. Like, the business isn't just about the guys in the ring. The business isn't just about the guys at the table. The business isn't just about the guys that sell concessions. It's mostly about the fans. It's mostly about just like in this world, like, again, it's mostly about the people inside of the chat. It's mostly about the fans on the other side of the railing. And if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the fans, if it's not for the dirt sheet writer or everybody else, then the pro wrestlers have nobody to work for. So, I mean, to think that, if you want to be on one side of the railing or the other, sometimes that doesn't work out. And I get all of that, but don't think that you're any less a part of the business or a part of the show, depending on the side of the railing that you're on. Because the worker,
say something?
Guys, is fans as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake. It's your show. Did I throw you off?
Balls, dude, can you post Red? What's up, Balls? How you doing this morning? Balls, can you post Red donation links? Can you post, Balls? Can you post Red's Redbeard's donation links, please? Redbeard is like I was trying to say before, Redbeard is going through some shit right now, and he's been a supporter of my channel. He's been a supporter of me, and so we do support Red. We do support Red,
awesome.
and we should never. He right now he can't work right now because he's sick, and he has a family to support, and if we can help him, it's Redbeard is a part of the Bubba Army. He's part of a lot of people's communities.
Be right back.
Well, you're a good dude, Jake, for looking out for him and doing what you can like that. That's awesome. Very commendable.
I know that a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, Red's a good guy. Red doesn't like."
All right.
Sometimes we have issues, but
Mhm.
you know what? Sometimes it's it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to be kind to somebody.
It does not. It does not.
So I wanna ask you this: what do you?
All right.
Oh shit! Sorry, my internet is screwing up now. What do you think about AEW doing the Owen Hart Memorial tournament? And people are saying why they're saying why a Southern company is doing a show for Owen, and Owen did not do anything didn't do anything in the South.
I don't know if it's so much that he didn't do anything in the South, but I think it's more a matter of what he did for the business itself. And Owen was a character and a worker that transcended the area that he worked in. Clearly, because he never worked for AEW. Why would AEW be doing something for Owen? You know what I mean? I think it's a shame that WWE didn't pick up the ball and do something like this, but I think it's great for AEW. I think that,
but I think Martha Hart will have something. Martha Hart hated how Owen was treated in WWE after he died. Also, Balls, hey guys, if you guys want to help Balls, if you guys want to help Red, there's his PayPal, his Cash App, and his Venmo. Balls is a good person. Balls is actually the reason why I have these headphones. Balls is the reason why I have these headphones.
All right.
Balls was the one that bought me the head. By the way, I am wearing the headphones you bought me. By the way, yeah.
So yeah, Chris, maybe if you have time, one of these days, Jake and I plan on doing a
Rumble only stream where we will watch all pay-per-views.
There you go. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And the first pay-per-view we're gonna be watching is Heroes of Wrestling.
Okay. All right. I will absolutely.
You ever watched that one?
I have seen it before. Yep.
Heroes.
I've never seen this one, so. Oh, did we lose you, Jake? We lost Jake just for a second.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
There
We're
you're
stuff figured out.
It's the worst pay-per-view ever.
And I come from a different era of being a wrestling fan than Jake, so like I'm able to. He shows me stuff. I'm able to show him stuff he's never seen. So
that's the fantasticness about pro wrestling is the fact that it's been around for so long and it has changed and evolved so much that old school fans can show new school fans stuff. It's like history lessons, right?
Yeah, it really is.
It's dope.
Hell yeah.
So OJ, you were saying something before, like when I was watching this show before I came on, you had a question for me concerning.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes. Okay. So
what did I do?
No, you didn't do anything. Who is in charge of that channel? I know that you're on the Shuley network, but who runs your show?
Like the producers in the back.
Nothing to do with the Shuley guys. Like, okay,
Oh.
pretend you're not on the Shuley network.
Right.
Who's in charge of the channel?
In charge of like doing the show and everything like that. It's Donnie.
Okay. Because there was a controversy on this was weeks ago now, and I just wanted to ask you about it. I'm not making any accusations. I'm just
Sure.
It just is what it is. There was a picture put out where it's the godfathers of podcasting.
Okay.
And the picture you guys had like more, that's what it was. You had more likes than views. So there was a controversy on Shuley's Anonymous where people were asking if maybe perhaps the channel bought bots, because you guys do get a crazy number of views.
So that is actually something that, so we don't do our show. The Godfathers of Podcasting is only done it's all done through the Shuley Network.
Okay.
Everything that like, I also will stream it to my audience. Like when we go into StreamYard, just like this or whatever, and you have the option to stream it to your audience, and I'll stream it to like my Facebook or something like that. Except for the week that we were off, I think I streamed it to my YouTube, my @TidTalks channel or whatever. But everything there is all done through the Shuley Network. We just sign into StreamYard, and what happens.
Okay, cool.
We have no control over any of that kind of stuff. So I wish I had a definitive answer for you, but I mean.
So for those of you out there on Shuley's Anonymous that wanted the answer, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so old. I don't even understand this whole of buying subscriptions and buying views and all of that kind of stuff. Completely unknown to me up until recently. I didn't really live too much in the YouTube realm of stuff. We've always done our podcast just for the sake of putting it out there as a podcast, just audio only stuff. But we always recorded it live by doing a StreamYard, because during COVID, when we got back together, that was just the easiest way. But as far as like, yeah, we entered a deal with Shuley and his network, and they handle all of the back end stuff. All I do is click a link, put my face on this camera, and hope that everybody agrees with my blue eyes.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get your take on it, because that was a question.
Yeah, someone
answered. So I felt there was an opportunity.
Someone in the chat just said, Chris, tell them Ted DiBiase is out of returement.
All right, Ted DiBiase is out of retirement. I have no idea.
By the way, I think Junior is looking at 45 years.
And he's Ted DiBiase is overlooked in the whole NWO era. I mean, he brought so much to that angle at the time, being like the benefactor of the NWO, basically billionaire Ted. I know they were calling Ted Turner that, but
right. Here's the thing. I've always thought Ted DiBiase is one of the most underrated guys in the entire business, in the history of the business. If you ever go back and look at some of Ted's stuff when he actually wrestled, like a young Ted DiBiase,
sure,
he was too fast for a lot of those guys that he was working with. The guy was athletic as hell, moved like a fucking cat, and like it was really, really good at his psychology and his transitions and everything. Yeah. It wasn't until like, because everybody just assumes Ted DiBiase was like the $1 million man and put on a sleeper hold and that was that. But no, you go back and watch any of his old stuff and you'll be amazed at how good he really is.
Yep. And I know it's not in there, wrestling isn't real anyway, right? We all know that. But in my mind, Ted DiBiase was the world heavyweight champion in WWF when Andre gave him the belt with the twin referees. It was great. So fucking awesome. That was great sports entertainment. I don't give a shit.
Dude, if you can get twin referees, how fucking cool is that?
That was amazing.
You know, because everybody saw it like with Killer Bees and the masks, and one would slide out of the ring and the other one would slide up from underneath the ring back in, and everybody saw those swerve angles. But I mean, as soon as you were able to do it, and everybody even saw like heel referees, like the old Danny Davis stuff, and you know what I mean, that area. But as soon as you got the Hebners, the two Hebner guys, and you were like, wait a second, I've been watching for this many years, and they're fucking twins.
Right?
What the hell's going on? So good.
It was excellent. Yeah, but Ted DiBiase definitely underrated. And yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did a lot of I think he was a world champion, right? Before he came to wasn't he with God, was that am I right? The Rat Pack with Hacksaw and
correct.
Or was that and Doink
Matt Bourne?
Matt Bourne.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, Ted DiBiase, he was awesome. But yeah, even in he never gets talked about in the NWO era, and even Virgil Vincent. I mean, he made an impact having just all the old WWF guys there. Like it felt like it was they made it feel more real.
Absolutely.
But anyway, Ted DiBiase was great.
Absolutely. Jake,
By the way,
go ahead.
By the way, go ahead. No, I did not watch SummerSlam.
Okay, all right. Me neither.
By the way, not see the Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz fight. I did not see that.
I saw the highlights.
And I will never. I challenged by the way, on an episode on one of our shows. By the way, I challenged Logan Paul to a backyard match.
That would be awesome.
What do you think of Logan Paul as a
Here's
wrestler?
The thing.
That much?
I'm not a Logan Paul fan because suicide is not funny. It's a real issue. He should have known. Suicide is not funny.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes people are immature, Jake, and just don't know better.
Do you believe that people can change and grow from their mistakes, though?
He's not changing. He basically he goes on his podcast and acts like an idiot. The reason why
Are we talking about Gino Bisconte?
No, Logan Paul.
Gotcha.
He goes on his podcast and acts like an idiot. He goes on a podcast, acts like an idiot, and then he family friends and he cusses up a storm on his show, on his podcast, and then he tries to be family friendly for WWE.
Okay. But I mean, you can do both, can you not?
I don't want to answer that.
Okay.
Well, Howard Stern actually had to do that because he had a pretty raunchy radio show, as we all know, and then he went and did America's Got Talent, I believe was the name of the show, and so yeah, he had to clean it up for TV, Jake. So yeah, people sometimes depending on what business you're in, you have to be a certain way.
But I get it, and you're right. You're right. The whole stunt that Logan Paul pulled in the forest over in Japan or whatever should never have happened, and he should, he definitely deserved all of the backlash and the canceling and everything else that went along with it that came from that. There's no doubt about it.
See, I don't know any of this shit.
One of these he should have what he should have done is he should have donated all the profits from. He should have said, "Hey, I'm donating all the money that I made that month to a suicide prevention charity to help to say I'm sorry." He makes thousands of dollars a month on his pet channel.
Mm-hmm.
But also you guys on one of the shows on Replayables, they had on the first episode they had like viewers, live viewers.
Sorry, you were breaking up there, Jake. Your internet is giving you grief over there.
Oh, finish the show.
What were you saying about the replayables again? All right.
He'll be back.
Jake needed to hit the green room and regroup.
You know, this is Jake's show, and Jake is Jake. You never know. You know, you could be in that seat. Here we go. I think maybe he lost connection, and here he is. Everything okay, Jake?
You need a moment there, fella?
I love him.
All right.
I love him.
Do you put peanut butter on your ham?
Well,
I
yeah, that's how you get the dog to lick it.
I put Bob Levy's blue cheese hot sauce on it.
Oh, okay. Jake, the reason I asked Chris if he put peanut butter on there because he puts peanut butter on his bologna.
Bologna.
Yes.
I've yet to try that one, and I'm a peanut butter fanatic.
Hey, I got a question for you. What do you think about Vice might not be doing Dark Side of the Ring anymore?
Well, they've finished up the fourth block. I know that they've got some new episodes that they're still filming. They contacted me about a couple of roles, but unfortunately, my schedule doesn't dictate that I'd be able to do them for them. So they are still filming stuff, and I mean, Vice hasn't gone out of business yet, even though they've filed for bankruptcy. But I mean, let's face facts. Dark Side of the Ring is probably the biggest program that they have. It's their moneymaker right now. So, I mean, for them to get rid of that, because they've also got Dark Side of the 90s, Dark Side of Comedy, Dark Side of everything, and it all started with Dark Side of the Ring. So.
But him, the reason I hand him, he says he drops all of me. Go fuck him.
Jake, he was just joking. It was a joke.
No, I'm not in a mood right now.
Okay, so Logger Tim, we'll have to see if we get you unbanned, but not today.
So,
sorry, what happened? Who did what?
Jake, if you piss off Jake, he'll just be done with you. So someone made a joke Jake didn't appreciate, and so Jake banned him.
All right.
I mean, the people
Jake
out
rules.
there.
He rules his show with a heavy hand.
Bob lose. I'm not gonna read that.
All right. So Jake, what's your plan? What's your plan for the rest of the day, Jake? Yeah, to sleep? Do you not sleep at night?
I swallow cum.
The drop, I believe that the BS show plays.
Yes,
Bob Levy. For
yes.
those of you wondering out there,
not that Jake was just making a random statement.
Yeah, I still don't have my range back after defending Husey. LOL. You're not getting one, Mac. Dude, I don't want Husey on my channel. Husey actually, he basically told me he has not had Vince Russo on his show. He said he didn't have Goldie on his show, and he also said before that he didn't work for Conan.
See, now,
and for
Jake,
Disco.
that is exactly the reason you should be friends with Husey. He's got the connection with all of these wrestlers. He does shows with them.
I'm
He could
friends,
probably-
I'm friends with. Listen, I'm friends with Vince. I'm friends with Vince.
I know
I'm
you
friends with
are.
Goldie.
But
By the way, the first person to reach out to me when my dad died was Vince Russo.
I know
was
that,
Russo.
Jake. Yes, I know that. He's a very good guy. Yes.
Goldie's a picture of her. Goldie me stuff for her to me. I have Goldie's business card.
Yeah.
I
Have you
a
ever
lot
had
of that.
Have you ever had Conan on your show, or Disco Inferno, or I mean, he worked with those guys.
Disco, and I blocked Disco before. I blocked him.
Of course you did. I should have known better. Damn it.
Because he kept
What do I know, Jake?
for like 12. Vince Root, by the way, I also want to say,
By the way,
Jake, remember OJ told you that Irish have a sense of humor, strange people.
Yes, they're very odd people, Jake. They have he's got a different goofy sense of humor, and sometimes you think that he's
I
messing
want
with
to
you.
add, wait, that your YouTube on your board there, your YouTube thing looks like the Pornhub logo. Tidwell.
Mine does. Maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe
Is-
it's not, Jake. You'll never know.
On
You'll have to do a deep dive on
What-
Pornhub to find me on there. That's for sure.
Yeah, but Pornhub. But you can also find Chris Tidwell YouTube, TED Talk. What's that? Instagram, Notorious TID.
Yep. At Notorious TID at Instagram and Twitter. And then, of course, just my real name, Chris Tidwell. If you're old as shit like myself.
Wait, what is it on Twitter? Because I'm horrible with that shit.
At
Hold on.
Notorious TID.
Notorious.
Also, you can
TID.
also find him on other shows.
Oh, there you
Also
are.
on the Shilly Network. He's
Just
been on.
followed you.
He's.
Thank you.
I also want to ask you about like what do you think about Major League Wrestling bringing in? They just hired Matt Cardona.
I'll be right back.
So Matt is, if you're going to have a guy who actually has a handle on all of this social media stuff and without being a contracted worker, Matt is probably the best guy. The stuff that, I mean, he has a huge following with all of his collectible stuff. Matt's
Yeah.
been doing great things with like showing up at GCW when he started all of it off. As an independent contractor, I think Matt is probably one of the, if not the top guy out there right now. So, for MLW has kind of poised themselves to really jump up into that spot that ROH had, with ROH obviously being bought and owned by, with AEW and all of that. So MLW has actually positioned themselves to make a huge jump, and adding Matt Cardona to the mix is definitely a step in the right direction for them.
Yeah. What do you think about Alex Kane winning the MLW World Title and being the first LGBT champion?
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of old school NWA heads out there that are like, this would never happen in the NWA that I watched, but listen, it's a sign of the times. Your business in the bedroom should never interfere with your business out in public.
Yeah. I also want to ask, what do you think about Raven? Raven has the call in now, and it's Raven, Akira. I think it's Kira Tozawa.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and also others. And Mandy Leone.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say this right. You also have other wrestlers, and they are now they have tag titles in the middleweight championship in their grasp.
Listen, Raven is one of the smartest guys in the world of professional wrestling and has been for a long time. So if you have the ability as a company to suck whatever knowledge out of that brain of his, do it and listen intently. You got to remember, Raven was responsible for a lot of the creative stuff, that you saw with a lot of guys over in ECW. So, I mean, he may have gotten a little bit longer in the tooth and a little bit older, but Raven is still one hell of a brain. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. We were just talking about him yesterday, I think, weren't we, Jake? I think so. I brought him up somewhere yesterday when we were talking about him and Dreamer. Such an awesome angle.
We were talking about we were talking about Sandman was on Sandman and Tyler.
That's
and
right.
Sandman's son Tyler.
That's what we were talking about.
Was on Francine's podcast, and they were talking about like Francine asked why was Tyler giving me dirty looks, and Sandman says, "Oh, I told him to do that."
That sounds about right. That sounds like something that Sandman would do.
So I have two fun facts, or as we're calling them now on our show, fucked facts about wrestling, Chris, that you may or may not know.
All right.
One is I've known this since the 90s because I used to be a studio engineer. I used to sample music a lot, and I put two and two together and actually recreated the NWO theme. Do you know where the NWO theme comes from?
Jimi Hendrix.
Well, Jake, thank you for letting the cat out of the bag. But yes, as I informed Jake, it's actually a bunch of Jimi Hendrix songs. Actually, even the B team, if you remember, they had the like main theme, and then they had like the B team theme. Both songs are in fact Jimi Hendrix samples, just sampled it all together to make one song.
Who is doing their writing then? Their music writing?
The guy that did it was behind the whole. I can't tell you his name.
Right.
I have him here. Damn it!
Because that was Jimmy Hart's gig for the longest time.
Where is it?
The following podcast has not been sanctioned by the New World Order.
So the guy that did the NWO voice, he was behind all of the music, the New World Order thing, the black and white videos they would do. He was the brainchild of all of that stuff.
Interesting.
And here's another one that I know is a fact.
All right.
Val Venus was a porn star. Even if it was for a short stint. I happened to come across a porn when I was in my teens. And because they were all on VHS, a lot of them or all of them actually back then. And I was watching one, and I recognized a certain grunt that a certain wrestler was making, Val Venus. And then I looked at the guy. I'm like, holy shit. It's fucking Val Venus. He went by Dick Steele. So it amazes me because I've heard a lot of interviews how they give credit to, I think, Vince Russo for coming, oh, you look like a porn star. And Val Venus has never, to my knowledge, ever mentioned, Sean Morley has never mentioned that to be true. But it is. I know it was him. Dick Steele was Val Venus.
Yeah.
And he was with a really hot chick too, by the way.
I just also want to say that when back in the day in the 2010s, they pay Impact Wrestling, they paid Bubba a lot of money to be there.
Sure. That was a shit show, that whole fiasco of seeing like the old NWO guys. I mean, aside from Nash, like seeing Hogan and
Oh, the money grab era.
Yeah, that it was just, it's still trying to be the guy clutching on to the, I was the fan still trying to support, and then to
and
see that shit, it was just
Hall wasn't
heartbreaking.
always you have
You all right, Jake? It reminds me, I got to roll one up so I can choke too. Actually, this shit doesn't make you choke.
No, I got something stuck in my windpipe.
But yes, Chris, dude, I was one of those kids that, as far back as I can remember, as far back as my memory goes, I was a wrestling fan. My uncle from Italy, he was an old school wrestling fan, and he was one of those. I think he knew, but he kept kayfabe before that anybody knew what kayfabe was. And I grew up that way too. Like I was the guy, like all the kids at school would come to, like, hey man, was that real? Like, and I would keep kayfabe without knowing what kayfabe was.
Right. Yeah.
But,
well, because nobody knew. You were just like, of course it's real.
Right.
Well, let me give you a DDT right now.
Right.
Hey, Chris.
Let me show you a figure four. Now put it on me now, and then reverse it on him.
Chris,
yeah,
Chris. When I before I started calling, I was asking if you had any Scott Hall stories.
Scott Hall stories? No.
Yeah.
None that we can tell on air.
Scott was I heard that he was trying to get sober.
There was a lot of times that Scott was trying to get sober, all the way up until the point that he did get sober. There was, listen, everybody knows that, like, if it wasn't for Diamond Dallas Page, Scott would have probably left us a lot sooner.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? I don't like speaking ill about, the dead, so to speak. So, I mean, all I'll say about Scott is that God bless him for getting clean before he went and actually being able to see the world, because you don't want to leave the world with a blurry vision.
And you were just talking about Raven being being so a brilliant mind. Scott Hall also another brilliant mind when it came to
100%. One of my favorite, and I used to use it all the time. One of my favorite favorite Scott Hall stories was Scott would meet new people coming into the business, and he'd be like, my name's Scott. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Nice to meet you. Can't wait to kick out of your finisher.
Right.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about professional wrestling is one of my favorite cameos that Mick Foley ever did was on that Vegas show with Rick Harrison. You know which one I'm talking about? The one on History.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it because it sounds like every time I say this name, people think I'm saying porn star. Yeah. Mick Foley actually they had a Halloween Mankind mask.
Okay.
And a dude love shit. He was Mick Foley was one of those guys that he can make a character. And also, since we're talking about A&E shows, I just saw they found something from they traded one item for another item. I forget what they were looking for. They went to a place. I remember New Year's Revolution 2006.
Okay.
When Edge cashed in the Money in the Bank contract.
All right. Yeah.
And they traded the briefcase for something. I don't remember what it was. They did a trade to get stuff for the archives of WWE. that's, you see a lot of, they had Conrad on there, Conrad Thompson. I love Conrad. I would love to meet him because Conrad is, people call me the poor man's Conrad because of all the shows I fucking did.
That's hilarious. You know when
Yeah,
when Conrad got started, right?
I think was his first
you're
show
breaking
with
up.
Ric Flair.
So Conrad started when he was 15 years old. As a
I thought you were talking about podcasting. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. With podcasting. I mean, with doing radio
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. At 15 years old, he was a call-in segment contributor to Live Audio Wrestling, the show that Donnie and I started back in 1996.
Oh wow.
That's where Conrad got started.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Conrad's been around for a minute, man, and yeah, he was a 15-year-old kid at the time.
Wow, it's amazing.
You said a couple weeks ago that you might try to get me on Godfathers.
Absolutely, I haven't forgot about it either, Jake. We just have not had the scheduling time. We're trying to work out some stuff to extend the show a little bit. Just because, lately with the guests that we've had on there, we've barely had time to even scratch the surface with them. So, but I have not forgot about it.
Yeah.
Trust me. I'm still going to have you on there.
Yeah. By the way, we used when we were doing Levyland for you guys, we had to stop at 1 hour.
Yep.
I didn't have time to even ask the talk because we were doing we had to go from our show to your show because Austin and Andy from Ontario, shout out to the boys in the back of the Shooting Network, the real men that work on that show, Austin and Andy. Austin actually had either Austin or Andy had to leave our show and get ready for your show.
Yep. Oh yeah, they've got those guys. Those guys are hustling back there, man. They are working their asses off, and they do a great job. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, we had to do the same thing with Blunder Years, just the last couple of weeks, last couple of shows as well too, right? Because they've been going back to doing the Blunder Years 2.0. So we try to give the guys in the back enough time to have a bathroom break before they got to get ready to do that show because they are busy, man. They are hustling. They got so much stuff going on over there. It's insane.
And the thing is, it's like our show, when we did Levyland, it's like I come in at the 30-minute mark, and I'm like, I come in at like 6:30, 7:30, and I only get 30 minutes to talk to these guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, they should like pay the guys are working so hard. These guys, Joe works so hard. Joe, the producer, Joe Russo.
Mm-hmm.
I want to also bring up the fact that, Godfathers podcast, you guys have been very awesome.
Thank
Every
you.
time I watch your guys' show, it's like it's like people don't understand. You guys are you and Donnie are friends outside of the show.
Barely. No, I've known Donnie for many, many years. And here's the thing, is like, our show, The Godfathers of Podcasting, it's kind of weird because we don't really fit into that. We don't really fit into that mold. You know what I mean? We don't get the hate that a Ray DeVito show does. We don't get the love that, say, like an Uncle Rico show does either. We're not part of that whole shitting on somebody, and their show thing. It's not really our bag. Our show is, this is our show. This is what we do. And we're very thankful for Shuli for allowing us to be over there and get out to some of his audience and stuff. So, it's kind of a weird flex.
It's so funny that, getting to talk to you is, a lot of times we don't, wrestling, grew up watching. I remember the old channel ESPN Classic,
Yes.
and I watched a lot of Herb Abrams UWF.
Mhm.
When you talk about UWF, you either have to say Herb Abrams or Cowboy Bill Watts.
Right. Correct.
And one of the things I love about and I also watched AWA wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You also got to see on there. They also had the game show Stump the Schmuck, I think it's called, where they had a guy that knew a lot of sports trivia.
Okay.
And guess who hosted that?
Who's that?
Stuart Scott.
Who's that?
He was a announcer on Sports Center when they first became real big. He was one of their mainstay announcers, and unfortunately, I think he died of cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
2015.
Gotcha.
And actually, in a lot of my promo, when I talk about cancer, I always cite the line that he said, when you die of cancer didn't you beat for how you fought.
That's a good saying.
Cancer, my mom actually had cancer in 2009.
Right.
And my mom actually lost her life. We found it too late. It was too late.
So when I was a kid, I would call into radio stations and win tickets that way to wrestling shows. With the rotary phone, not.
Oh yeah.
And I would actually win, and I actually won tickets to both the first Survivor Series. They were in Richfield, Ohio, right outside of Cleveland, and the first two were in Richfield, and so I won both times by being the ninth caller on the radio station.
It always makes me wonder if there really was a ninth caller.
Yeah,
or if they were just like, we're giving these tickets away now because we want to be done with this.
Oh, dude, no, I used to win CDs and all that shit. So you just drive up to the radio station, go in, and
dude, I used to be such a pain in the ass kid that like it didn't matter what the radio station was. If they were doing a contest and call in now, I was calling in now. Yeah. I can remember one time I won 6 albums, like country music albums from a country music station as a kid. I made my mom drive us to the station to be able to pick these albums up. I didn't even like country music, nor did I know who any of these people were on these albums. I wanted to win the contest.
Yeah, right.
I'd call
thrill. Dude, especially when you're a kid.
You call it the Jerry Lewis telethon or whatever, I'll donate $10 just so they put your name up on the TV screen.
Right. And then I can remember that feeling I would get, that nervous feeling, like, oh my God, like I got through, and then, sometimes you wouldn't be the ninth caller. You'd be like the sixth. They'd be caller 6 and hang up like, oh. Or the phone would ring.
Caller 8. You're caller number 8 because you're never going to be able to call back. Because as soon as you would, they'd be like, "Oh, you're caller 6. Oh, maybe I can call back again."
Yep. And then, like I said, I had the rotary phone for a while. Then the touch tone phone came out, and I was like, "Oh man!" And just could hit the redial, and amazing.
I just want to say, to anybody that watches this show, this is professional wrestling talk. If anyone doesn't like what we're talking about,
I have a Macho Man drop somewhere.
Just click off this video if you don't like us talking about wrestling and the real side of wrestling, because we have a wrestler right here who was trained by Johnny Canine.
That's right, Johnny Canine, one of Jim Cornette's favorite workers of all time. Johnny Canine, Bruiser Bedlam. What was he? He was one of the Ganguses, I think, in Smoky Mountain or something like that.
I do not listen to Jim Cornette anymore, but I am a huge Jim Cornette fan.
By the way, he's actually right about Kenny Olivier.
What did he say?
Kenny Olivier can't work, and those young fucks, they can't work. The young bucks. Sorry, the young bucks.
The young sucks.
Kenny Olivier. Yeah.
I am not a
Kenny
fan of them
Olivier.
either.
Sure.
I was a fan
Kenny
of Omega
Olivier.
when he was in Japan.
You know, here,
I was a big fan of him with the
Yeah.
Bullet Club and all that. I liked that persona that he was doing.
Kenny Olivier basically can't wrestle.
But the whole
You're
video
expecting
game wrestling shit, it's fucking lame. Their psychology. I'm a big psychology guy when it comes
Sure.
to wrestling. You know, I wanted to, even though we know it's not real. Let me think that maybe you guys don't like each other, and this could possibly be real. You know,
Sure. I've never understood why the more flips you do, the impact becomes harder.
right?
Like rather than
Yeah.
just jumping off of somebody, and dropping an elbow on their throat or something like that, it hurts more if you throw a flip in there first before dropping that elbow. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And
You
that
know,
could just
and
be me
I'm-
being
and
a
I'm-
hater because I can't do flips.
Well, and I'm the old guy now, and like, dude, when I was watching it, when I grew up, a body slam would win. You know, like dudes were winning by doing a body slam. And,
100%. A headlock takeover was a finish.
right.
You know what I mean? In some areas. And I grew up watching AWA. That was my first, because they filmed it at the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas. And so I was able to like really get into AWA stuff. And then also because over there we had a lot of Don Owens, Portland wrestling, which was unbelievable stuff for me. That was all the guys like Matt Bourne and Iceman King
Yeah.
Parsons and Buddy Rose, the Playboy Buddy
Piper.
Rose. Piper was there, like that,
Andre.
Billy
Andre?
Haynes, Andre made it through there as well. Like, between that and AWA stuff where you had like the Midnight Rockers and you had Hogan there and you had Snuka there and you had Colonel De Beers and, the Midnight Express was through there for a while. Like it was, to me, but this is also, that's your formative years. This is the years when you learn and you're taking in all of that information and that sticks with you for life. So to me, that was all of the stuff that stuck,
Sure.
much like yourself, that stuck with you. for
Yeah,
life.
I wish we could play the Andre, when Andre died, the promoter in Portland did a 10-bell salute in honor of Andre, and I wish we played it over here, but I'm worried we need a copyright claim on it.
Yeah.
No,
if you ever
yeah,
get
that's really cool though. That was those. I didn't get to watch all that shit when I was a kid, so I'm envious of you for that. I was watching WWF, the NWA, and WCCW. We'd get it'd be on like twice a month.
I love that Texas stuff. That WCCW stuff was so good. The Von Erichs and Freebirds and Missing Link and
that was
Gary,
that,
and what was it?
Gary Hart.
Gary Hart.
Yeah, he was awesome. Another great mind. But yeah, that was my Saturday morning block. We had a 1 hour WWF block followed by another WWF block. Then you switch, and this was on UHF for those of you old enough to remember UHF. So you'd after that block was over, you'd switch to the other station and you'd get basically WCW, NWA. And then if you were lucky after that on the other station, you'd get WCCW. And then also I'd get because I'm in Cleveland. So sometimes we had those old satellites on top, so we'd be able to pick up some Canadian WWF shows.
Yeah. So we had the for Saturdays for us, it was every Saturday, and it seemed like it was like a 6-hour block, because you're a child, you have no concept of time.
Right.
But it wasn't. It was the WTB, the TBS stuff, the in studio NWA stuff.
Okay.
that to me was fantastic, and it always seemed to be like we're setting up for Starrcade, or we're setting up for it was all the studio shows to set up for their live show in North Carolina tonight, and it was just like greatest stuff. Nikita Koloff stuff.
Hell yeah!
Since we're talking about Starrcade, did you know that Vince McMahon actually ruined Starrcade '85 they said, if you told pay-per-view providers if you run Starrcade, you can't run SummerSlam, or
That's
you
right.
can't run any more WWE.
That's right. And
That's
Nikita Koloff,
pay-per-views.
by the way, always Goldberg always reminded me of Nikita Koloff.
100%. Nikita Koloff was one of those guys. He was one of my favorite, like most underrated heels of all
Yes.
time. I didn't really care for him when he turned baby or whatever and teamed up
Oh,
with
he
Dusty
grew
or
his
whatever,
hair
but
back and shit.
yeah,
It was
like
awful.
but man, when he was with Uncle Ivan and just murdering dudes, his psychology and his abilities in the ring, very underrated. in my
All right.
And he got ragged on for like always staying in character, but and especially in retrospect, I appreciate those
Hey
guys. that took
guys,
gimmick so seriously. Yes, Jake.
guys, we're gonna wrap it because I'm getting tired. I want to go lay down.
I don't blame you there, brother.
All right, any plugs, Chris?
You've been doing a great job for me, Jake, throughout this entire thing. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for having me on.
Can you move your head? Can you move your head so people can see your TV?
There you go. And you can check me out YouTube.
YouTube. TED Talk. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter at Notorious TID, and it's Chris Tidwell on Facebook. And you can also watch him over on the Shirley Network on Godfathers of Pod every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central.
That's right. And also Mara Wanderers on the YouTube at Mara Wanderers, or also on my at TED Talk channel every Tuesday at 9:00, and every Sunday at 9:00 we have the Fake Off Show, which is just a lot of fun, a whole bunch of deep fakes that people send in to us, and we just get really high and laugh at them.
Yeah. You do a show called TED Talk every Sunday
every Sunday at 3:00
Eastern.
Yep, 3:00 Eastern. Sorry, I should say that. Thank you.
Yeah, you were talking about Colts.
This past one that was up there right now, we were talking about it's kind of a retrospective of going through my life from a very young age. And where we're at right now is, that middle teenage years going into about 15 years old. And we're talking about the explosion of Mount St. Helens, because I was in Washington State for that. We're talking about hitchhiking and getting cruised by people while hitchhiking, because that was a thing that happened. We talked about a guy losing his arm in a sawmill. These are all things that have happened in my life that I've witnessed growing up, that I'm just telling the stories about it. So you can go over there and check it out. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Also before we end, I want to also bring up the fact what do you think about Rotten?
I don't.
Exactly.
I don't allow that person to have any energy inside of my sphere of living whatsoever. I don't care for him.
Ian Rotten.
Perfect answer.
Yeah. Never have.
He ruined professional wrestling. He's ruining wrestling. And I'm gonna stop myself there before I say something very fucking stupid, calling something that I'm gonna regret, because I know a lot of people. I have a lot of fans. I have a lot of people that are Ian Rotten fans, and
that's cool. Let them be. He has people that like him. Cool. I'm not one of those people, and there's inside thoughts that should always just say inside thoughts.
Jake is the.
What do you think about?
Jake is the HWO though, so he's got that mentality. You're either with us or you're against us. He's very loyal.
Okay.
He chooses sides.
Yeah. There you go.
You can't change his mind.
Yeah.
That's how he is.
I got a question. What do you think about Jim Crockett and what David Crockett did on the?
If it wasn't for the Crockett family, wrestling would not be what it is today. Plain and simple.
Probably my favorite organization.
What's up, mommy? What's up, mommy? We're actually fixing the end, mommy. We're fixing the end.
Yeah.
Because we're at an hour and a half right now. We're at an hour and a half and some change. I want to say thank you to Chris Tidwell for jumping on and doing this show. You can find his show on the Shirley Network at Godfathers Pod. You could also find him on TED Talk _ TID on both Twitter and Instagram, and Chris Tidwell on. You can also find him on Chris Tidwell on Facebook. You can also find the Godfathers of Pod Facebook group.
There you go. Thank you so much, guys.
And
Thank
all
you.
right,
Thank
we
you.
are ending. All right, and we'll see you when we